Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. James Haskell, Glenn Martin, and DK here to break down news, notes, and all updates regarding the Baltimore Ravens. As you can see by the title, of course, we're going to be talking about our favorite topic, the offensive line. But so much to talk about here with the Baltimore Ravens. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to you guys hanging out with us tonight. But Glenn, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
Doing well. It's a cold day in Baltimore, which, it's a brutal kind of preview of what we're in for when the winter actually hits. I don't know if I'm ready for it, Jimbo. This is not my favorite time of year, and it seems to only get colder every year I get older. And I don't like that. I think it's a me problem, not necessarily that the weather's actually getting colder. I don't receive it as well as I once did. So
I do have to say January this year was probably the coldest January I can remember.
There you go.
But you're right. Every year it gets freaking colder, and every year I'm like, okay, I just got to make it. Because, like, Memorial Day, I mean, of course, like, August is brutal, but even July, but May, like, spring and fall are amazing here. But, gosh, the cold is brutal, dude.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
Like in other places when you got more to do, like snowshoeing, four-wheeling, snowmobiling, it's like, okay, ice fishing and stuff, but we don't have the terrain.
We hide.
Space. You know what I'm saying? We don't really have that here.
No. We all stay indoors.
It gets
and
tough.
Then come out in the spring and see each other and get a tan.
Dude, my freaking toddlers go nuts. They're cabin fever, man.
Yeah, I'm with them. I go crazy as well. But look, this is an important game. Like, all the games are going to be heading down the stretch with the Ravens only one game back from the Steelers in the race for the AFC North division. And, of course, the Bengals looks like they're still trying to get Joe Burrow out there. I saw he practiced in full today, so I guess you have to include them in the competition for the North. This is a big week this week, a home game, AFC game. Got to win the home game. Certainly got to beat a team in which you're favored by more than 2 scores. The Jets coming into M&T Bank Stadium after a 3-game road trip for the Ravens finishes up 3-0. So shout out to the boys for getting it done. But the big thing that I want to talk about, and I think we should start, is talking about the injury report. It is once again a long, long list. It feels crazy to think just, bless you, 2 weeks ago, this was a completely blank report. We didn't see a single name listed, and now not only is there names, but it's quite a few of our key contributors on that list, Jimbo.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Yeah, and of course we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson dealing with now his, third ailment to his lower body? Gosh, here we go again.
Yeah, it starts with the hamstring, then it went to a knee injury, and now being announced he's dealing with an ankle injury. So he's hitting all 3 quadrants of the lower half there.
Yeah, just moving on down the leg. If it's all the same leg, even worse. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Let me pull up an injury report real quick. I think I had a good graphic there.
I know Cordell had a good one.
Okay.
He had it up earlier. But yeah, I mean, another Wednesday. Now, all indications are that Lamar Jackson and hopefully others on this list will be able to ultimately suit up and play this Sunday against the Jets. But I think it more so just kind of talks about just the overall, season that he's had and the hits he's taken, the unreliable offensive line, inconsistent offensive line in front of him. And I think this is a direct result of that. I don't think for a second that this just has nothing to do with their offensive line. I think it is absolutely, a cause in this. This is not a season in which he's been running a ton voluntarily. What's going on, Adam, in the chat? Appreciate you.
And Glenn, it's crazy. He's taking 3.2 sacks a game right now, the highest in his career by far. And to your point, Lamar's not running a lot. I know we're going to talk about this list, and I want to talk about Lamar specifically. But one of the things that I think is worth mentioning that I didn't think about until I started thinking more about the O-line this week is that a lot of his impromptu running, I feel like, comes from when he climbs the pocket. He climbs the pocket with velocity and decisiveness, and boom, he's gone, right? And some people say Lamar's lost a step, things like that. I don't think it's that. I think that it's more about them not even having the ability to block him on the interior to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's not even breaking down in a way that it's like, oh, he breaks contain. There's no contain.
No.
There needs to be contain, right? To begin with. There's nothing. It's frustrating for me to watch because not only are we limiting Lamar as a passer, but I also believe that we're damaging Lamar as a runner as well, because any sort of initial protection for him is hard to come by, right?
Yeah.
And it's not even breaking down in a way that's like, okay, one guy got beat, two guys got beat. I see a lane I can go. Well, 4 guys out of 5 just got beaten. 2 of them didn't touch the defender. Well, I don't know if Houdini can get out of that.
No, yeah. And like you said, to be able to climb the pocket, step up into the pocket, there has to be a pocket to step up into, and there has to be protection from the inside. And that's the weakest part of this offensive line. And then if he is to try and roll out to the right side, well, Rodgers having a tough year, and so there's usually not a lot of space there as well. So
wasn't it a third down in the game when we rolled to the right, trying to get Lamar more time? It probably happened more than once. There's one that comes to my mind.
Yeah, and then Miles came backside and put him on his ass. Now, to kind of defend the offensive line a little bit there, I wish Lamar would have just thrown the ball away because you're cutting off half the field with your routes, so you understand that there is a possibility that no one's open. There's nowhere for him to go with the ball. Don't take that sack. Don't just stand there and wait for Myles Garrett to come ripping down the offensive line. Got to get the ball out of there and kind of live to fight another down. I do think he probably took 2 or 3 unnecessary sacks. Not that they would have been successful plays, but a throwaway is always better than a sack.
I totally agree with you there. I guess my only point is like that whole design in my mind, I could be wrong, and correct me if I am, was to buy Lamar more time because we were getting cooked. You know what I'm saying? They're like, all right, Lamar, get on the move right from the get-go because we're already getting cooked. And even that didn't work. So that was a bit of a scary proposition, right?
Yeah. There's no doubt they've got to figure something out. Massey says rank.
Let's get to this though, Glenn. Let's get to this, Massey. Let's get through the injury report and then we'll get to this. Is that okay, DK? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to get to Massey's topic. I think it's a good transition to the next. But let's get through the injury report. I figured that way we can see both of our faces in full screen. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the moneymaker.
That's right.
So also Rashad Bateman still dealing with the ankle injury he suffered against Minnesota when he had the hip drop tackle that ultimately wasn't flagged, but they did hit the pockets of that defender. He did get fined for that tackle, but that doesn't make Rashad's ankle any better.
Right.
And then Kyle Hamilton, we saw on multiple occasions go down really the last couple games with bumps and bruises. He ultimately didn't practice today with a mixture of shoulder and groin injuries. I mean, this guy is absolutely everywhere. I expect him, as much as he's playing up and near the line of scrimmage, I mean, he's a wiry guy. He's going to have some bumps and bruises, but again, I think the expectation is he'll be out there. Good to see Justice Hill back out there fighting the toe injury. Had a full participant today. Also, Marlon Humphrey back with a limited participation. What's your gut feeling tell you early on in the week about Marlon playing this Sunday?
Yeah, I think Marlon plays.
Okay.
I definitely think Marlon's a gamer. Like, people can say whatever they want about Marlon. I know some people have beef with him. There's times I certainly find him annoying. But I think as far as him wanting to get out there and play and playing banged up, he's one of those guys. He'll do it. So I feel good about it. I
need Josh to chill out in the chat. I know he's trolling because I happen to know Josh, but he chill out. By the way, I saw that Baker Mayfield not only relies on his offensive line to block for him, but he also needs help to get stuff off the top of the fridge from him. Oh, here we go. All right, don't get banned, Josh. He's a Tampa Bay fan. Anyway, yeah.
Funny, so, I'm starting to kind of come around on Baker.
I am too, but how can I?
Right. Let's not get it twisted. Right. 8 is my quarterback. I don't want Josh Allen. I don't want Baker Mayfield. No, thank you. You guys can keep those. I'm okay with the guy, and I'll live with the consequences. I don't think that as a singular football player, either of them can tie Lamar Jackson's shoe straps. I'm sorry. I just don't think that they can tie shoestrings. And as a singular football player, I'm going to live with the consequences of my guy. It just is what it is.
That's it. But yeah, I honestly hope if Marlon is able to play, that there's just no chance for any issues of messing with that finger. So bandage it up, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But if you need to sit, I think the Ravens could get through this week. I mean, they're a 14.5-point favorite for a reason. They're the far better football team. They're playing at home. So if need be, Marlon, do not rush back for this Jets game when we need you down the stretch when we're playing 5 of 8 against division opponents. So do whatever you got to do. But if you can suit up and bandage it up, then let's see you out there. Isaiah Likely also DNP today with a calf injury. That's a little worrisome. I always get worried about calf injuries.
That is your thing, Glenn.
They're a weird injury. And Wemby, by the way, Wembenyama for the Spurs went down with a calf injury. He's going to miss a few weeks. They don't even mess around with. They're saying weeks. Get him out of there. And then kind of a sad note there. Keon Martin, as well as he played last week in the absence of Lamar Jackson, was kind of thrust into a larger role in the nickel position. Out with a rib injury. I hope that this isn't something long-term. It's not surprising when you look at his stature. A guy who isn't the biggest guy, that's for sure. And he's a rookie, which also doesn't help, in a sense that he doesn't have that full year or multiple years of professional weight training where this is his job, one and only job. But hopefully it's not a long-term injury, but it's kind of a bummer to see. Roquan Smith, a hamstring injury, that same hamstring he's been dealing with and kind of nursing for a couple weeks now, also forced him out of practice. Ronnie missed with an illness, and then Voorhees misses with a foot injury. That's kind of interesting and something to watch. I know, some Ravens fans I saw celebrating that the potential that we might see a mix-up of the offensive line, not for Ronnie, but more for Voorhees. Of course, we're not going to root for anybody's injury, but kind of worth watching there.
Yeah. Any stat line that you can pull up on Andrew Voorhees, it looks terrible. So
yeah,
that will be interesting to watch. And maybe John uses this as an opportunity like he did last year to make a change, right? And protect him with a quote unquote injury. But anyway, I don't want to dig too deep into that. Poor guy. Hopefully his foot heals.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a jerk today. Ultimately though, Glenn, look, I think that, like you said, the injury report is a lot of guys wanting to take some rest, get an extra day.
Yeah.
But there are some names to look out for. I think Voorhees is an interesting one. Isaiah Likely, like you said, you don't want to mess with the calf, and otherwise. But I have something I was thinking about with this offensive line. I'm gonna remove this from the screen. Remove this here. Okay. Before we get to Massey's questions, I want to get to it. It's one of our folks that view the show said, the only unfortunate part is our offensive line just happens to stay healthy all the time, right?
Yeah.
Remember that comment was pretty funny. Is there any advantage, even with a terrible offensive line, that we will have if we go into the playoffs with the same offensive line that we started the season with in this scenario? Like, is there any, do you see what I'm saying? Like, is that an advantage if we stay the same? And maybe we're the healthiest O-line in the playoffs at that point. I don't know.
In theory, it absolutely is and should be, because continuity is there, and obviously they should be progressing, getting better at their craft. Certainly the younger guys, maybe not Ronnie at this point, but I guess you can always work on technique and try and get better there. But the problem is we have not seen them getting better, and they've been healthy all year. So in theory, absolutely 100%, but it just hasn't shown on the screen. I mean, I think Faalele's worse than we saw in week 11 or 12 of last year. Like, I don't know what's going on, but there is an obvious regression happening on the offensive line. And so it should be, Jimbo. Typically, if you look at teams that make the championship games and beyond, they have the healthiest offensive lines. I mean, they do. They're the best in the trenches on both sides of the ball. So it should be, but they haven't gotten any better throughout the season, which is crazy to think when they've all been healthy.
Yeah, it's just an odd thing to me, right? Because I thought about that and I was like, okay, well, I was really trying to dig deep for something good. I'm like, well, if they can stay healthy, that's something, right? Like, that's,
yeah.
That's the thing I'm just digging here. I'm digging at any, for anything.
Yeah. And the thing that drives me, I think, the most crazy is that this is already a team that has set the precedent that they are willing, even though no one else is doing it, to play rotation at offensive line. They've done it year after year. They did it with Roger and McCary when he first started. They did it when Morgan Moses had an injury. They rotated him depending on the play. We've seen it. We've seen them do it when everyone said, this is a bad idea. You should stick with your 5. They said, no, this is what we're doing. And yet this year, when it's so glaringly obvious to everyone, even if you take like the film guys out of it, if you take the Ravens fans out of it, and you just go with what PFF has to say, which is apparently all analytics, it's all numbers, it's not feelings or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Falele is so bad, Jimbo. He's so freaking bad. And he hasn't gotten any better. He was absolutely awful last week. And so it's like, why is it that even though you've done it in the past and it's glaringly obvious that you have one huge hole? I mean, really, both guards are bad, but Falele is so bad, Jimbo. He's so terrible. How could you not want to do something you've already done and at least cycle and see what it looks like? Like, I just don't see the harm, other than because, again, Harbaugh got up there, and what did he say? Of course, these are the best 5. They're playing really well. And then we hear from Linderbaum shortly thereafter, and he goes, well, I can tell you why we're not good in the red zone, because we're not running the ball consistently, and that starts with us on the offensive line. So it's like the players are recognize it, the fans recognize it, film guys recognize it, PFF is saying it. And I get why John's not, because at the very least, we got to credit John for not throwing his guys under the bus and at least trying to some degree to instill some confidence and belief in guys like Falele. But it's just crazy to me that they've done it before. Every other position on the team is up for, hey, if you're not playing well, you got somebody barking up, your rear end for competition, but not for right guard, not for left guard. I mean, it's maddening.
It's maddening. It's confusing. All of the above. Yeah, I don't really understand it, but my hope is that somehow their abundant health will turn into their superpower.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on that and the offensive line as a whole. But my thing, Glenn, is this sustainable football? Can Lamar make it through the season this way? At some point, when do you start having that conversation? And when does Lamar say, coach, like, what do we need to figure out here? Right? Because I think it would be easy for one to say, well, tell Lamar to get rid of the ball earlier, this, that. It's not that simple, guys. It's not just like get rid of the ball sooner, do this, that, the other. You have to set up a whole playbook for those type of plays. I'm not saying that we don't have them, right? But like so much of Lamar's game is dependent on things that he's good at. And sure, he can deliver the ball quickly. Anybody can, right? With a brain and an arm.
The defense knows that, though. Like, that's another thing.
It's not just like, let's just deliver the ball.
Yeah, the defense is like, okay.
Right. So, and then what happens, of course, Lamar, it compounds on itself because then Lamar sits back there thinking he has to create miracles.
Yep.
And wait and throw off his left foot ballerina style and side armed. And you know what I mean? It's a frustrating problem. The last question I have for you on the O-line here is, at this point, I feel like your answer would have been different 4 weeks ago. At this point, barring health, is this our starting 5 last week of the season against the Steelers?
Oh, man. I mean, it's just no indication other than past history that says otherwise. Like, the only thing I can say is that we've seen it in the past where they have made, because they're not going to necessarily come out and announce it, just like John doesn't announce anything, because that's going to help. The only thing it would help is the opponent. So I think it's possible we could see it, but from everything we're hearing from John, it doesn't seem like it's happening. And unless we have an injury, I do think that's what we're going to go out there with. But again, in the past, we've seen them make changes, even if they haven't announced it. It's happened. So that's basically the only thing I'm kind of grasping at, because I don't think it's sustainable. I think it's, and even like I've seen people suggesting, Ben Cleveland and Emory Jones is all we got. I'm like, what about Corey Bullock? And they're like, well, Corey Bullock, he's our backup everyday center. So what if Linderbaum gets hurt? Then we can't turn to Corey Bullock, and he's so perfect to go in that scenario. It's like, well, what if Lamar gets hurt because we're dilly-dallying around with Corey Bullock trying to keep him as our backup center? Can we worry more about Lamar Jackson? I mean, Jesus. You talk about, is this sustainable? He's went from a hamstring to a knee to an ankle. He's already missed games this season with injury, and yet he's running less and less than he's ever ran before. He's getting sacked way more than he ever has in the past. So it's like, enough of this. Well, we got to keep – no. Whatever, get your best 5 out there. And at this point, it doesn't hurt to when he's the worst in the league, how is it hurt to try? Like, it's just driving me crazy. On the screen here, I pulled this up. This is the NFL ranks, PFF ranked the supporting cast. Okay, this is them ranking grades in rushing, receiving, pass blocking, and run blocking. Okay, this
I don't
is the
even see.
supporting
Where are
class.
we? Am I?
Oh yeah, I'm going to scroll down and you'll find us.
Oh gosh.
But it's the supporting cast around the quarterback. And
gosh.
Should it surprise anyone to see the Colts number one?
Yeah.
No kidding, Danny Dimes is having a career resurgence. He's got the best supporting cast rating in the entire league. And then who is leading the league in touchdown passes by a wide margin now? Matthew Stafford.
Right, Matt. Yeah. And they're the number one power ranking in the league. I mean, everybody's riding the Rams, right?
The Bills.
By the way, we held them to 17.
That's right. The Bills. I mean, everybody's riding Josh Allen after last week's performance. The greatest. Well, look at his cast. Remember when they said we can't give the MVP to Lamar because his supporting cast is too good? They'd be good without him. Yeah, we saw how much bullshit that was. How are the Seahawks doing this year, Jimbo?
They're doing pretty dang good.
Hey, are the Bears way ahead of schedule leading their freaking division? Yeah, they are. How are the Lions doing? Now, the Chiefs, that's kind of weird, right? Like, I thought they had the best QB in football. Yeah, okay. But they're not dead last.
Well, not where we want to be.
But look who is dead last.
The Brownies.
And then look who's right behind them. Are any of these teams good, Jimmy?
Well, I mean, no. I guess the Chargers are okay, right? But
they're 25th. So it's like, it just shows you, like, and how much of that 21 ranking. I mean, look, they said they grade run blocking and pass blocking. So how much of their offensive line is responsible for them being in the 21st position? I mean, I got to imagine it's a huge part of it. And so it's like, why do we just keep doing this? We're playing with Lamar's health. We're making guys legitimately question if Derrick Henry has met Father Time and fallen off a cliff, which is just insane to me. When we all know who follow this team closely, has nothing to do with Derrick Henry, and it's 100% on the offensive line.
Yeah, in fact, I was thinking about this too. I think Derrick Henry is incredibly good at squeezing everything positive out of any run that he can get. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So good at it. It's if you really watch him, he knows when he's got 2 and he turns it into 4. He knows when he's got 1 and he turns it into 3. He knows that, and he can. Anyway, but that's a ridiculous chart. Exactly, not ridiculous. I mean, the list in itself is ridiculous that we're so low.
Right.
And it's scary. The other, I mean, the thing that we have to settle on is that, I mean, I haven't seen any guys getting let go yet that will be, that are vets that are hoping to compete. And there's no one walking in this building.
No.
Right. It's just not happening. So I don't know what the answers are. I mean, obviously we're not here to be all negative, right? There's some positive coming up, but gosh dang it is hard. Because when you got a guy like Lamar Jackson, when you got talent like Zay Flowers and DeAndre Hopkins and, and Rashad when he's healthy, Derrick Henry on the outside, so like Mark Andrews, and man, dang it, Glenn, why didn't we take more swings?
It's maddening because, like, Massey brings up the AFC playoff picture. Let's not forget, folks, like those first 6 weeks were against teams that are likely all going to make the playoffs, right?
Yep.
So who are we going to be playing in the playoffs? We're not playing the Jets. We're not playing the Browns, who by the way, gave us everything we can handle. We're not going to be playing, bottom feeder teams. We're going to be playing the best of the best in the AFC. And so a lot of this frustration, even though we're in a 4-game win streak, is because we're looking ahead on the horizon. We've seen this before. We've seen regular season win streaks before in Baltimore. What we're tired of is those ending in the playoffs far too soon. And so a lot of the frustration is just like, geez, man, like build for when it matters most. Now would be the time to get an Emory Jones or a Ben Cleveland or a Corey Bullock up to speed for when it matters most.
Yeah, we're rounding the corner, right? And we're headed towards the final stretch. Let's get them in the fold. Because like you've said countless times, Glenn, it can't get worse. It can't get worse. I mean, it is so bad right now. In any metric you can judge an offensive lineman, Falele and Voorhees are bottom of the barrel, barely hanging on 2/3 of the NFL would not be starters.
Right.
Maybe more than that. Maybe something like 3/4.
Yep.
4/5. I don't know. I can keep going with fractions, but I mean, it's just a wild thing. So I will say this one thing to Massey's comment. It says rank the AFC playoff teams. Denver number 1 for me due to their elite offensive line and defense. Their D-line would kill our current O-line. I don't disagree with you. However, I said this in our last show, Massey. I believe that the Denver Broncos, if they get the number 1 seed, I think the last team that they want to see roll up into Mile High is Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. And I could be drinking the Kool-Aid, but I think if we go into the playoffs, I heard the only guy on 105.7 I respect today, but not today. I heard him, I think it was there yesterday. I can't remember. He believes that we don't lose anymore for the rest of the season. He thinks we roll right in on an 11-game winning streak. And if we win a divisional home playoff game by the grace of everything and have to roll into Mile High, I don't think that young Bo Nix, even though he is like 38 years old, I think he's older than Lamar Jackson, right? Isn't he? Something crazy like that.
Is he?
They're
really?
close. He's
Wow.
old. Bo Nix is at least 28, right? DK, fact
Is he
check me.
really? I know Tyler Shook.
He was in college for, I think, 8 years, right, DK? How old is he? 25? Gosh, somebody's old like that.
Tyler Shook. He's a rookie. He's like 27 for the Saints.
She's a whiz. Anyway, my only point is that in the particular instance with, and I also think it's kind of the same for the Patriots. I just don't think they want to see I don't think they want to see us, either team. Anyway, that's just my hunch.
Yeah, no.
But
they don't.
I still understand your point, Massey, right? Like, we'll obviously be underdogs at that point.
Yeah. I mean, let's see here. Do you have? Can somebody pull up the list? Because, well, I mean, he talked about ranking. Yeah, he talked about ranking the AFC. Okay. We can certainly line it up. I wonder if we're going to get much of a difference. And while you do that, I do want to throw this up because, I mean, this is just an absolute insane graphic here. This is you guys have probably seen if you're on X. This is a graphic of all of the snap breakdown by position for Kyle Hamilton so far this season. As you can see here, 205 snaps played at free safety, 132 at linebacker, 114 at slot, 79 at the edge position, 19 at corner, 14 snaps at defensive tackle, and just the only one at strong safety. Has literally played every single position, including defensive tackle, for the Baltimore Ravens this year, which I saw in one of the top comments said, F it, put him at guard. I mean, at this point, he's got the length. He's got the length. He's got the toughness and the tenacity. I don't know if he's got enough weight to play the position, but I know he'll fight his ass off, and he won't just be he just won't be laying down for half of his snaps. But just truly shows like the versatility of Kyle Hamilton, the menace that he is. And not only, like I said, at D tackle, but like knocking guards back and making tackles. Like, insane. He's such a freak show. I think he's as long as nothing derails his career from an injury standpoint, this dude's no doubt about it. Ring of Honor type player, and looks to be on his way to Canton as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's just absolutely amazing and really fun to watch him. And Glenn, the thing I want to touch on in relation to Kyle Hamilton before we talk about the rankings as well is there are some positive notes around Ardarius Washington coming back.
Oh yeah,
Tavius Robinson coming back.
Yep.
I know that it's kind of tough right now with our offensive line, but do you think that they can do anything? Ultimately, we need to win football games as a team. That's how football works. Do they do much to move the needle for us defensively? Well, I think Tavius Robinson in the immediate does.
Yeah, because I wonder what, as much as Ardarius might be cleared by the doctors and ready to go, I wonder what actual percentage that we're going to get out of Ardarius initially. I mean, that's a pretty, what was it? Was it a knee or an Achilles? Wasn't it Achilles?
I think Ardarius was an Achilles.
Yeah. So that's a rough injury to come back from that quick and expect like immediate on-field results. On top of that, we already run 3 safeties a ton. I can't imagine we're going to find a way to run a lot of four safety looks. Now, like I just shown, Kyle Hamilton's versatility may allow for more of that because he plays so much linebacker and he'll play D tackle, play edge. So it might allow for some, but I mean, we'd be the first team in the league playing a heavy amount of 4 safeties that I can ever remember. So it would be it would certainly be away from the tradition, right? It would be away from the norm to do that. But you never know when players could go down. You never know if God forbid, a Gilman, Starks, Hamilton were to go down, then all of a sudden, we're leaning on that guy for a lot more. So I do think it's kind of hard to say with Ardarius. Now for Tavius, absolutely. I mean, I think he's going to go right back into playing a huge role in this defense. I expect him to bring that play like a Raven attitude that he's always had since he's been here, and he'll improve the defense, no doubt about it. I don't know if we'll see a sizable improvement from a pass rush standpoint. I do think he makes a difference in the run game. And he plays hard. So, I mean, he'll probably help to some degree in the pass game. And if nothing else, spell guys and give guys some more opportunity to come in a little more fresh.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. And I'm Tavius. Yeah, I think just like you said, absolute jump start to that group. Him along with Draymond, of course, who we've got in. It'll be nice to see them playing together.
Yeah.
Kayvon, or what the heck? Kyle Van Noy. I was going to say KVN, and then I said Kayvon. KVN seems to have been impacted positively by Draymond as well. We've see him get a bit more active here. So I think, that we'll continue to see that. And look, when Ardarius does come back, to your point, who knows how much we'll see him. But one thing we know about Ardarius, we have no evidence in the contrary to this. Every time he's on the field, he makes plays.
Mm-hmm.
All we have is evidence in favor of that statement.
Yeah.
Somehow the ball ends up around him, and somehow somebody's head gets end up knocked off, or the ball ends up on the ground, or he's breaking the pass up, or he's intercepting it. I mean, that's all Ardarius does, right? So excited to have him back. Either way, all of those things help our team. Of course, we'd love it to be on the offensive line. But all right, DK, let's put this bad boy up. Yeah, it's crazy. Right now we're 10th. I was looking that up a second ago. So we're like not even quote unquote in the hunt in a lot of.
I mean, just look at where the AFC ended up last year. Who would you have ever guessed in a million years that the top 3 going into week 12 will be the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Colts? I mean,
that's why this is crazy to me, Glenn, because if we can truly continue to make this run and somehow, now this is the biggest if our offensive line can show improvement, enough improvement to to your point, just get to where you were last year. That's all we're asking for at this point.
Yeah.
Right. If they can just do that, I think it's crazy for me to say I'm scared about playing the Broncos, the Patriots, the Colts.
Right.
Because I'm not.
No.
Is that crazy? Am I ridiculous?
Well, I think that what scares you about, I mean, I will say this, the Broncos have a great defense.
They do.
They have a really good offensive line that's keeping their quarterback, upright.
I just don't believe in the way they're winning.
They are winning a lot of low-scoring games. And so that question is, can that hold up through the playoffs? Can the defense continue to hold teams down?
Because a couple mistakes and Lamar ring up 40 on you.
Yeah, that's true. But defense, wins championships. That's what they say. Now, Indy, their defense is obviously better with Sauce, and they're getting healthier in a lot of other ways. But I still have a hard time believing if you can somehow slow down the run game and slow down Jonathan Taylor, I still don't buy into Danny Dimes just yet. He's got to show me more. And New England feels a year early, and they don't necessarily have a ton of weapons. But, man, Henderson's running his ass off. Drake May is playing really good football, and Vrabel's got that defense really humming. So, they're good teams. But to your point, they're not the star-studded, led by their quarterback that we're used to seeing up there. They're not the usual faces. So I tend to agree with what you're saying. Now, the year might end and it might look a lot different. Buffalo is only one game back of the 3 spot. And then if they continue to win, then they could easily overtake the Patriots and find themselves up in the top, 1 or 2 seed. But as it stands right now, it's pretty crazy to see, the Kansas City Chiefs on the outside looking in, the Ravens right now on the outside looking in. I mean, it's a weird one. But how would when you look at how it's stacked right now, what team scares you who's currently in the playoffs the most?
Right now, who's currently in the playoffs? I mean, it's the Bills.
Yeah.
They scare me the most because it's the Bills, right? Because we've had issues with the Bills. And I worry about that psychological, we've had issues with the Bills in the playoffs. As far as, the top 7,
Yep.
No one else, right? So if we take the 4th spot,
Mm-hmm.
which I believe wholeheartedly we may do, or we will do, yeah. Do you think there's any world in which Kansas City Chiefs end up on the outside looking in?
I mean, it's possible, man. I mean, the Chargers have some stinkers of a loss. The Jaguars too. So I could see them. I could see them continuing that trend and having some really bad losses in inopportune times. But man, the Chiefs just look bad right now.
They look bad.
I mean, there's a lot of criticism on Andy Reid and his lack of running the ball, which we've seen forever from Andy Reid. But Patrick Mahomes was able to cover, able to cover a lot of that stuff up. But right now, I mean, Xavier Rice isn't looking that good. It just seems like they're not outsmarting teams like they have been in recent history, and their defense isn't playing as well as they were. So, yeah, I don't think it's completely over that division. I think that division is sealed, signed, sealed, and delivered. And I hope that the Patriots can hang on because I do not want to have to go to Buffalo. I wouldn't mind at all if Buffalo has to come here and play us in Baltimore. I would love to play them on our home turf. And it might end up being the matchup week 1. I could see that very well. The Ravens being in the 4 spot, the Bills being in the 5 spot, and it's a 4-5 matchup at M&T Bank Stadium.
Bring it on.
In the wild card round. I think that would be exciting football. I agree with you. I think the Bills are the scariest team in it because they have, the best quarterback, in my opinion, out of those who are currently in there. Like, I mean, none of those other teams. I mean, but the Broncos are right there because of that defense. And I do think defense matters. I think it's the easiest to translate into playoff success is your defense. It's not as, I don't think, fickle as a high scoring offense could be when the things get a little tight. Pressure gets a little packed, but yeah, I mean, and then that run game of the Colts kind of scares me, and they got a pretty good defense they're putting together. So, but if I had to rank it, I would go Bills 1, Broncos 2. I'd go Patriots 3, then the Colts 4, and then the Steelers I'd put below the Chargers and the Jaguars. To be honest with you,
yeah. It's wild. The AFC is going to be an interesting ride. I hope we're a part of it because it's going to be interesting nonetheless. As bad as we've looked this year, to me, it's wide open.
It is. How much of it being like it is wide open? Is that because that's the part that like makes me so frustrated with the current state of the offensive line?
You imagine if we were what we were supposed to be?
You know what I mean? We just had the play of what we had last year from our offensive line.
Say we even split the first 6 games and went 3-3.
Yeah, and be a 2-game better team. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That looks
7-3 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, going into this run of teams where we probably will be the favorite in every game.
Yep.
It's
crazy, man. It would be a whole different feel. And, the Ravens have no one to blame but themselves for that first, especially that game 1. I mean, gosh, remember that collapse in game 1?
Were we up by 15 once or twice?
Oh, I don't know.
We were up by 15 with 7 minutes left, right?
Yes, it was so frustrating. Oh, my gosh. So, I mean, the Ravens have no one to blame if it ultimately comes down to, they weren't able to climb out of that hole they dug themselves. But I do think they will. I'm confident that they'll take care of business, especially when you look at what the Bengals are and the Steelers have been doing as of late. And the Steelers have a tough matchup this weekend. Off the top of my head, I'm blanking, but they have a tough game coming up. I think it's the Colts, right? I believe they have the Colts this weekend.
Who, the
Steelers?
Yeah, I believe.
Oh no, they already. That's right. They already beat the Colts. That's right. That was the last loss from the Colts.
Oh right. Wait, you said the Broncos.
No, I meant to say the Steelers. The Steelers have a tough matchup this weekend. I just can't.
I'll tell you.
Looks like DK's trying to
Green
find
Bay.
it.
It's the Bears. The Bears.
The Bears. Yes, the Bears. I don't think they can score with the Bears. So I think the Steelers are going to be equal with the Ravens after this week, and then of course with the division record we're going to jump right from 10 to 4 this weekend. Woo! What a jump, baby!
That's oh man, I can't wait to see that. The other thing I gotta say, I don't know how I feel about this. This is completely off topic, but the nickname for the Baltimore Ravens have coined our new special teams unit, the Tripod of Trust. You seen this?
I don't like it.
It's really dumb.
The tripod of trust.
I hope that they don't try and roll that out ever again.
Oh,
Like, let's not see if that sticks. Let's just move on. That was a
yeah.
strike, but they did post it on Twitter, the tripod of trust. I hate it. Like, I know we're trying to rebrand, and maybe Wolfpack, being that wolves are aggressive animals.
Yeah, I mean, Wolfpack wasn't the greatest, let's be honest. But
now looking back.
oh, by the way, speaking of that, I thought I saw that did the Packers kick the tires on old JT?
I don't know. I heard the Niners were going to as well, but they signed Matt Gay, right?
Let me see here. I thought I saw that the Packers were signing. I don't see it. I don't see it here now. So maybe it was just some people stirring some stuff up. But yeah, I do see the Niners are being rumored because of Eddie Piñeiro's grade 1 hamstring injury. Ooh.
Yeah, but they just signed, I think, Matt Gay, I believe.
Okay.
I think so.
People still not willing to. I don't know if that's performance or off the field. Why they wouldn't sign him? Probably a combination of both.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. I guess
Something to watch.
Absolutely. But look, to your point, Glenn, it'll be great to go from 10 to 4 this weekend. That's what we'll hope for. A couple other notes, guys, for those of you watching the show, of course, DK's got all the over-under winners posted on Instagram and Facebook. Please, and of course, gosh, DK, I'm ridiculous. Please, all of you that haven't already done so, send your addresses and t-shirts. And then the winners, just so I can shout you guys out from the past 4 weeks, in order: Dan Rhodes, Ron Smetten, Jason Moyer, and Kyler Bruno Moraine. There we go. Did I get that right, DK? No, Kyler and then Bruno Moraine. 2 separate people. I'm getting it. You see, you got me there, DK, with the comma. See how 1 comma can make a difference? Anyway, look, folks, we're going to be back to talk about our matchup. The Ravens, I think, are
14.5.
14. For some reason, I thought it was 17, but you're right. 14.5 is right. 14.5 point favorites. We need this dub. Like, let's not stub our toes. Let's not make this another Browns game. We'll be here to break it down, of course, on Friday evening. But I think that's it for us, folks. Anything else, DK? Oh, we're good? Oh, nice. Our standings. Hey, Glenn, you're only up 1. I thought it was way worse than that.
So hold on. Who's up?
You're up, but you're only up 1.
Yeah. That's okay. I'll win this week.
Yeah.
Widen the lead,
We'll see.
Maryland, Texas said his wife stole his long sleeve. Oh, no. Dang. You know what? My wife always steals my clothes, and I never wear hers. And she goes, you can. She goes, you can.
I'll have to fact check that, Glenn.
Well, my doors are always shut when I do. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, look, folks. Maryland, Texas just win another competition, brother.
I think he just did.
Oh, did he win another one? Okay. Yeah. Well, then there you go. We'll send you another long sleeve, my man. Asking you shall receive. But I think that's it for us tonight, folks. We will talk to you soon. And see ya.
See ya.